Demello Jones picking the Dogs today, a day after he was in Athens. Actually, could still be in Athens as the time that I'm talking to you. But he made the announcement that he's committed to the Dogs on Friday afternoon. Now, if you don't know who Jones is, that's okay. He really sort of exploded on the scene at the end of the fall in 22. He had 122 rushes for 1,279 yards and 20 touchdowns. A lot of plays in the secondary. He's playing both ways. In high school, Swainsboro, where he goes to school, got to I think I don't know if they won it or they went pretty deep in the playoffs. And from that point forward, Demello Jones has been a guy that Kirby and company have been paying attention to. Kirby went down to watch him play when Swainsboro played Statesboro. There's a lot of boroughs in there, but this is one of those commitments that you know when Georgia identifies someone they really like and they're going for that person, it makes you think to some degree they know something other people don't. And with players like Javon Bullard, Lad McConkey, etc. Well, Edwards, McConkey, uh, and so forth, Xavier Trust to some degree, um, they seem to be able to scout those guys, like what they see, and get them on campus to be big time contributors. Matt DeBerry, who covers recruiting for Dog Post, is really a big fan of Jones, and that's something to keep in mind too. So you've got a very athletic kid who's playing basketball. He's playing both ways on the football field, which I got to be honest. If guys, particularly if they're skill players and they're not playing on both sides of the ball, that bothers me a little bit because they're almost always high end athletes. Then they should really be playing both ways for the most part. If they're linemen, maybe not, but um, even then, like Jordan Davis played offensive line when he was in high school. So here's what he had to say before committing to Georgia. He said, Georgia's already special with them being a powerhouse school in my state, and they're showing me a lot of love. Coach Fran Brown and I already have a strong connection. He is just a good person outside of coaching. So the other thing I wanted to touch on here is just how far Georgia's jumping out on this 24 class. Here we are. It's hard to believe they just won the 2022 national championship. If you've not seen Double Dogs, you can get the link down below. That's still available for everybody. They just won the national championship in 2022, right? So it's confusing after a while that they're on the 2024 cycle for football, for recruiting. And they are the number one consensus class right now. A season ago or a cycle ago, it was Alabama who had just had an outstanding class. And what you're going to hear later tonight on our channel is Matt and I talk about this recruiting weekend coming up, but that this team, excuse me, this program right now, right, it's okay for Alabama to have a knockout class if you follow that up a year later by having something similar. And it's okay if they have the number one class if your class, which is number two or three consensus wise, is not so far behind because you can make it up in other ways. You can, obviously you can develop guys. You can, there's any number of things that you can do while you are developing players. Transfer portal matters. I think it'll matter a lot for Georgia at receiver this year. But for the most part, this is a situation where Georgia, if they can keep this class up, can go toe to toe with Alabama in the recruiting world. I don't know where Ohio State is right now, just being truthful. I'm not sure where they sit. I'll look it up as we go. But those three are the three programs that you have to watch for in terms of you know programs in college football right now. So the consensus right this second is, and this is for the 24 class. A year ago, I want to make sure we're sort of on the same page. Alabama had one of the best classes sort of ever. Georgia did not have the same kind of class as Alabama, but they were behind Alabama, but they weren't so far that it was nuts. But last season it went Bama, Georgia, Texas, OU, Ohio State. So Ohio State maybe not exactly where you'd want to be with sitting at 5 this year, and it's very early for the record. Uh, it goes Georgia, LSU, but the difference between Georgia LSU is not insignificant. So it goes Georgia, LSU, and then there's a pretty big drop off because these other programs don't have 10 commitments or more. So it goes Notre Dame, Florida State, Michigan, South Carolina at 6, Oregon, Tennessee, Clemson, and then Bama. We know that Alabama is not going to finish behind, or well, behind Clemson. We know they're not going to finish behind South Carolina in recruiting. So some of this, I mean, like Wake Forest is the 11, and it's just very early in the thing. But the guys Georgia's grabbing right now are high level players. You got Robinson, who's a 5-star prospect, perhaps the best player in the country from IMG. Landon Thomas, another 5-star kid, a tight end from Colquitt County, Moultrie, wherever you want to. And then Demarcus Riddick, a linebacker from Alabama, who's yet another high-level player for Georgia. So 5-star kids who are already in the boat for Georgia. They are going to go with Georgia's going to go and get more in-state kids. So you're seeing Alabama, Florida, which is it's not abnormal to see Florida. Ryan Puglisi from Connecticut. These are all guys. Georgia's going to add a lot of in-state guys, and there are a lot of in-state guys to get. But they already have 7 players that are top 100 players in this class. 7 of their 10 committed kids are top 100 players. And there are other guys to go get. They're going to add a high-level quarterback. That quarterback will probably be a top 100 player. Ryan Puglisi, again, not in that top 100. Will that change over time? So I think right now you're looking at a program that is hitting it on all cylinders, clearly, right? I mean, it's half the time like the weatherman, they're so used to it. You see these moments in back-to-back years, and it's leading to, appearances in the college football. It's leading to appearances in the college football playoff. It's leading to national championship moments at Georgia. And what it is, when they get a player like they did today, they are saying, "Hey, we see value here." Like Demello Jones, they see value there. They say, "Oh, everybody's not all on top of this guy. Why is that?" Well, he's in state. He really surged at the end of the season, at the end of the fall, and they'll probably have to fight teams off, but right now with the way that they're going, um, they need to get as many high-level players as they can. They need to push this out as far as they can and take it from there. I mean, Puglisi, Dwight Phillips Jr., if he is even close to as fast as his father, that is a home run hitter at any moment he touches the ball. You're talking about very serious athleticism. I've seen that in person from the dad way more times than I can recount. So you're talking about really high level players here. Thomas, the tight end from Colquitt, is the real deal for sure too. And I like where Georgia's going, but to be the number 1 class, they've got opportunity still to widen the margin that they have between the number 1 class and the number 3 class, stuff like that. They're going to go back and forth with Alabama. That's just what this is. If I were Ohio State, I would really want to get back up there and start fighting. There is a difference when you're not recruiting at a top 1 or 2 level anymore. That makes a difference, and you can really slip quickly. I mean, look at Clemson. So you've got to go at a high level and take it from there. Hey, listen, thanks for watching. Demello Jones from down in Swainsboro, committing to Georgia today. Georgia with the #1 class with a bullet in 2024.